My name's Clara Rose. I run Clara Rose Consultancy. We help people with their legal careers, so right across the spectrum, from sort of newly qualifieds, even trainees who aren't sure what they're doing, or paralegals, but right up to helping, partners move from one firm to another. We try to do these online events just to support people really in things which will help them with their career, because it's all well and good moving from one job to another. But unless you have that clear idea of what you're trying to achieve in your career and where you're going and what's going to suit you and all the rest of it, it's much harder to find anything that does fit. So that's where we hopefully come in terms of those discussions and helping you, which is why Scott's with us here today. So we can talk about how to be the indispensable lawyer within your team, the one that, dare I say it, should times get hard, the firm will be loath to get rid of you because you will be the one that they want to keep and keep on board. So Scott, over to you to do your own intro, although I'm sure everybody knows you.
Thank you very much, Clara. So, hi everybody. For those of you who don't know me or haven't seen me speak before, my name's Scott Simmons, and I'm a toolbox for turning lawyers into rainmakers. So what I do is that I provide lawyers with the tips, tools, techniques, strategies to go out into the marketplace, give their clients the best advice, and win more work. I coach clients on subjects including mindset, leadership, culture, habits. I train lawyers in how to sell and cross-sell, to network confidently and give presentations that people remember and make other lawyers jealous. And then I help law firms develop strategies for growth, and then most importantly, take those strategies into the market to help them build organically as the foundation for the future. So now that's out of the way, what am I going to be talking about today? So what I'm going to be talking about is essentially, what is it that makes a lawyer indispensable? What makes them that invaluable part of any team or any legal business? And how do you ensure that you're valued in your role, that you build leverage throughout your career, that you're the first in line for any promotions, last person to be thought of when redundancies come around? Thinking about the things that you should be doing now to build towards becoming that indispensable lawyer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of hopefully split it into two parts. How to provide more value to your employers and leverage value that can help you advance your career, and also how to create and add value to clients. How to become that rainmaker, that trusted advisor, and be that first person on their list when it comes to calling. Now, when I kind of do my talks, I like to set the scene a little bit. And one of the things that I sometimes talk about is the 5 trends that I see and others are seeing that are impacting the legal profession. So those 5 things are increased competition, AI and other types of technology, but predominantly AI, a new generation of business owners, agile workforce, and equality. Okay, so when we're talking about increased competition, we're thinking about the ever-growing number of law firms and legal businesses that come up onto the market. And there's an irony to that, because I always say to my clients, you don't have competition, because only you can do what you do the way that you do it. But there are an increased number of law firms on popping up. Technology, particularly AI. You know, what we've seen over the last 6 months really isn't even the tip of the iceberg of what AI is capable of and what it's going to, how it's going to change the legal profession. New generation of business owners. What we're talking about is, those business owners and clients that are coming up that are totally different to the clients that that were around 20, 30, 40 years ago. What they demand is lawyers who are more representative of who they are as buyers. Then we've got agile workforce. COVID only sped up what has already becoming inevitable, which is that desire by lawyers to work the way that they want to work. And not be tied to one desk or one place to work. And that's impacting law firms. And finally, we've got equality. You know, we're talking about women being over 50% of the of lawyers, and only just starting to creep up in terms of really senior and leadership roles. But 25% of businesses now are female-led, and the growing number of loans that are made up by the British Business Bank are for the members of the BAME community are growing all of the time, and we need to be more reflective of that. And I just want to ask a quick question for people to go into the chat with. So what I mentioned there was 5 trends that I see and I talk to people about: increased competition, AI, a new generation of business owners, agile workforce, and equality. I'm interested to see what people are thinking about which of those 5 they think are having or going to have the biggest impact on the legal profession. So if you want to just take a moment to go into the chat and say what you're thinking, you know, which of those 5 trends you think are having the biggest impact, then please do. So increased competition, AI, increased competition, AI, new generation of business owners, equality, and an agile workforce. Right.
Lots of people saying AI.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, yeah, I see that. I see that as well. And I'm not here to frighten anybody. AI is an opportunity. AI is an opportunity. But it is, for me anyway, and for the conversations that I have most days, AI is going to change absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. Actually, interestingly, what Laura says is absolutely right. Agile working is definitely having an impact on recruitment and retention. Yes, the law firms that I speak to and work with, if they're agile, they're not finding it anywhere near as hard to find people and find good people. But AI is going to change everything. AI is going to change everything, and it's coming about so quickly. In the space of, since 30th of November, when ChatGPT 3.5 was released, what we are seeing and how it is improving, and they've already released, GPT-4, and I use generative AI like ChatGPT and Jasper and Copy AI. I use them every single day, and that doesn't even cover off most of AI. AI covers so many different aspects. But when we get to the point where it can do the drafting and the researching of legal work, that's going to change the profession in an absolutely fundamental way. And as a profession, we need to embrace it, utilize it. As Catherine says, it's an opportunity for increased efficiency, but it's also an opportunity to provide an incredible experience to clients, because it's going to speed up the work. So goodbye billable hour. It's going to speed up the work, but it's going to give us the opportunity to spend more time with our clients. And that's hugely important. So having kind of set that scene a little bit, how do you become indispensable to your law firms? Okay, now this is really and truly, this is whether you're a business owner or an employee. But for the business itself, I'm going to get the obvious one for me out of the way. As I've said to you, I train and coach people in how to sell. So the first one for me, the obvious one for me, is going to be, you want to become indispensable, become a rainmaker. Don't just be the worker. The reality is that workers can be replaced. Rainmakers are indispensable because they create the opportunities and they create the revenue. And even if you in your mind push back AI for a while, it's going to do an awful lot of the work. And you want to be that rainmaker. When the time comes, you want to be that rainmaker. The lawyers of the future are advisors. They're not simply document drafters or researchers. They are advisors. They know how to build the right kinds of relationships with their clients to win more work and bring money into the legal business. That is invaluable. Now, what makes a 21st century rainmaker? So I wrote about this a few months ago in my newsletter. So if you get my newsletter, you'll know this already. And if you're not, why aren't you signed up? But get in touch with me on LinkedIn or on our website. You know, let me know that you want to be on the newsletter. Leave your email address and we'll get you added. So I wrote about this because these 5 characteristics that I see all the time in the best rainmakers. They also happen to be the characteristics that I help lawyers, you know, learn. So the first one is and cleverly, I made them all C's. So it's the 5 C's, the 5 C characteristics. Right, number 1 is clout. Okay, so rainmakers, they know their subject matter and they can talk about it in the context of their clients' specific circumstances. So they understand that not every piece of legislation or every case law will be relevant to every client. So what they do is they listen. They ask the right questions, they listen to the answers, and they tailor their advice. Okay, they challenge their clients' perceptions, and they ensure that every conversation adds value. And I'm going to talk about adding value a bit later on. Okay, number 2 is confidence. Rainmakers can walk into any meeting and not be fazed by who it is that they're dealing with. Okay, so they speak with the kind of certainty that transfers to their clients. And those that are really good, they kind of talk as if they're talking with friends. They talk as if it is just part of a conversation that is putting everyone in the room at ease. That is massive, because there is still this divide between clients and lawyers. The best rainmakers break down that divide and they make people feel really comfortable with what they're telling them. So number 3 is credibility. Okay, best way to, you know, if you want to be known in the legal industry, you want to be known as an expert. So, you know, you want your reputation to precede you. You want to establish your authority in meetings. You want to get, you know, so that you can get those meetings much easier. So how do you do that? Well, things like you know, social media, building your personal brand. Again, I'm going to talk about this a bit later on. You know, but remember, social media, you can reach an audience from all over the world. No in-person event can match that. Rainmakers understand how to build their personal brand across different channels and media. You know, they can get referrals, you know, whether it's from contacts or existing clients, whether it's from in-person events, whether they, you know, they're doing webinars. They establish their credibility and they build confidence amongst their target market. Then we've got number 4, which is creation. The 21st century rainmaker knows that living off referrals is putting all of your eggs in one basket. So, you know, when you're living off referrals, you're just simply waiting for those things to come in. You're waiting around hoping that the work is just going to fall into your lap. Rainmakers go out and they make things happen. Right? So they look at their existing client base, they cross-sell and they upsell. Again, I'll do a bit more on that a little later. Rainmakers go hunting for new clients, inbound, outbound. They're not afraid, and I know that this is unpopular, but they're not afraid to pick up the phone and cold call and cold email. It should not be beneath lawyers, because it is not beneath any business to do it. And at the end of the day, we are businesses. We are businesses that sell. We just happen to sell legal services. So it is not beneath us to pick up the phone, particularly when we are early days startup, building our business. It should be right up there as part of the most important strategy, along with inbound and networking and referrals. Number 5, connection. So rainmakers understand that most legal services are a complex sale. They understand that it's going to take more than one meeting to win a new client that is, especially when it's high value. Unless it's come through a referral who says, trust this person implicitly, you've got to go with them. Most of the time, legal services are a complex sale. They're going to require more. It's going to require a bit of relationship nurturing. So you're going to have to build those relationships. You're going to have to nurture those relationships. And you're going to have to do it in a way that creates real value. Okay, that's how rainmakers win and keep clients. And ultimately, what comes from all of that value creation and keeping those clients do the marketing for those lawyers. They become raving fans. Testimonials, referrals. No paid advertising can match that sort of thing. So if you want to become a 21st century rainmaker, these 5 C characteristics, clout, confidence, credibility, creation, and connection, those are really important. So that is rainmaking out of the way for a little bit. Now, between 2020 and 2022, I was coaching young professionals as part of my work. I was coaching young professionals as part of an organisation called Career Point, and it's this amazing organisation whose philosophy is to help coach young professionals advance their careers. Unfortunately, I had to leave it at the end of 2022 because I was unfortunately so busy with what I was doing in Legal Balance that it just wasn't possible. And I was really gutted about it because I loved it so much. The irony is that most young professionals can't afford coaching, and what Career Point allowed them to do was to get access to this coaching. And the idea behind Career Point is that it stems from a theory called the employee value curve that was written by a quite well-known recruiter called Steve McIntosh. Lovely guy, absolutely amazing. Not as lovely as you though, Clara. Lovely guy. And he wrote this book called The Employee Value Curve. And what it talked about was how do you as an employee add and create more and more value for the place that you're working at in order to leverage that value creation to advance your career. And it's a brilliant theory about value creation. And what it does is it looks at 8 value drivers. And if you can, and I'll go through them twice, if you can write these down, you'll recognize them. And I'm interested to see how many of these you really recognize in yourself. So the 8 value drivers that it talks about: innovation, work ethic, leadership, relationships, impact on morale, expertise, positioning, and business environment. And I'll go through those again. Innovation, work ethic, leadership, relationships, impact on morale, expertise, positioning, and business environment. Now, I should sort of, I should apologise without apologising and saying I hate presentation slides. I hate PowerPoint. So there's no slides today. I had thought about the slide for these 8 value drivers, and I just hate slides so much that I opted not to. And I figured there's a recording of this. You can listen, and you can listen and see me and Clara over and over again whenever you want. So you can get it that way. If you do want to see them again, ping me an email or on LinkedIn, and I'll send them over to you. Right, the 8 value drivers. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so innovation. What are you doing to constantly innovate and make your legal business better and better for clients? That's innovation. Work ethic. And our work ethic is about, are you putting the work in? It's not about the hours, but it's, are you putting the work in to be really effective for both the business and clients? Then there's leadership. Leadership isn't about a name or a role. It's about, do you have those traits? Do you look out for other people? Do you help people along in their journey, no matter where you are in your career? Do you take what you've got and help others to be better and help them on their journey? Relationships. Okay, relationships are all about the key stakeholders that you work with. Not necessarily so much in the business. We're talking about, customers and any other suppliers and legal tech provider, all of those sorts of things. How do you build those relationships that make you valuable to the legal business? Are your client, particularly with lawyers, are your client relationships absolutely spot on? Do clients come to you because they see you, as I said earlier, as the first port of call? Then we're talking about impact on morale. We've all worked at places where we have colleagues who absolutely suck the life out of our day. Okay, we don't want to be those people. We want to be the people that when we walk into a room, we add a bit of light to it, so that people enjoy our company. Because when people feel good, they work harder. There is a correlation between feeling good and higher productivity. We all know that. We've all heard it a million times before. What's the impact that you're having on morale? Next up, expertise. Expertise. Are you constantly looking ways at developing yourself, building your expertise, honing that for the benefit of others? Remember, this is about adding value to the business. And whether you are the owner or the employee, your expertise should be going around that business for the benefit of others, for the benefit of clients, for the benefit of the business. Then we have positioning. Okay, we're talking about office politics. Office politics are just a part of business. I actually don't see office politics as a bad thing. I think it gets a bad name because when we talk about office politics, or we talk about politics generally, we think of some of our current and recent past leaders and who they wouldn't step on to improve their situation. Office politics is natural. It's all a part of building the relationships internally to improve your situation, to help you climb the career ladder. And that is a vital part of being in business. And then there's the business environment. The business environment is really the place that you find yourself in that allows you to improve the other 6 or 7 value drivers there. So really it's about the situation that you find yourself in within the company. Now, 8 value drivers there. Thinking just about yourselves. I'm interested, just very, very quickly, if anyone looks at these and thinks there's possibly 1 or 2 or more that I could work on. Are there any of those value drivers you look at and think, actually, probably what I could do is I could just do with thinking more about 1 or 2 of these value drivers? Or alternatively, do you think, yeah, I've got every single one of those nailed?
I know in recent examples, I can think of recent examples of people speaking to me about their leadership and how they weren't positive in, you know, people forget where they had to make their own way and what they had to learn, and couldn't put themselves back in the shoes of those people that were now following behind them. I think that's a common thing in law firms. And then you said about the expertise and sharing it around the office. Lawyers are sometimes prone to holding on to things, whether that's their knowledge or their files or their clients. And definitely, I can think of recent examples where the expertise is there, but it's not shared. And why wouldn't you share that to better the business, you know, and to better yourself and show yourself to be the one with the expertise, sort of thing?
Absolutely, 100%. If I could, you know, for the 2 years that I worked with Career Point, the ones that came up time and time again were, interestingly, leadership. Actually, I say interestingly, no, leadership came up probably the one of the most. But again, as Laura has said, positioning came up over and over and over again. How to navigate and build relationships with the right people, because ultimately you can do great work, but if the right people aren't seeing it, then it's not going to have as big an impact. And yes, you know, working from home creates some missed opportunities, and that's why rethinking how you build those relationships, Laura, is so massive, is so important, so hugely important. When you're thinking about how you become an indispensable part of a team within a business, those 8 value drivers will be absolutely paramount. They make up what creates huge amounts of value to any legal business. And if you are working on them all the time, you're going to be creating that value, and you are going to find yourself becoming increasing, just ever more valuable to the business. So whether or not you know, and the other thing I would say is that just because you think you've got it nailed, you're always learning. If you're not learning, you are falling back. So even if you think, yeah, I've got it absolutely sewn up, I'm learning every single day. Just, you know, 10 years ago, I probably thought I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And life has a way of kicking you when you are, you know, I like to call it confident. My wife would tell me it was absolute arrogance. But life has a way of really dropping you down a peg or two if you think you've got it all nailed. Oh God, Catherine, did you see that clip with Tom Hanks about this too shall pass? That was amazing. That was absolutely brilliant. Right. So we've looked at those 8 value drivers. We've looked at business development. Okay. Those things taken in the round to a business are going to absolutely make you indispensable. But you've got to be thinking about, how is it that you become indispensable to clients? Okay, it's one thing to be seen by your business as really valuable, but when it comes to knowledge services like the law, clients decide. Clients decide across the board whether you're indispensable. But ultimately, with knowledge services, that's what we're selling. We're selling knowledge, we're selling peace of mind, we're selling outcomes. You know, unfortunately, what we are trained to believe is that we're selling time. And that could not be further from the truth. If you think you're selling time, AI is going to absolutely come and knock you off your feet. Clara and I were talking about this before, and I have this chat increasingly day by day. AI is going to turn around the work in 10%, you know, in 10% of the time. First drafts will be done so quickly that us saying to clients, charging by the hour, fine, but it's taking you 10% of the time, so I'm going to pay you 10% of the bill. What you can't then do is you can't then say to clients, well, we use AI, so now we're going to charge you 10 times more per hour. because we're using AI. The billable hour is going to be the biggest shock from AI. You are not selling time. What I want you to be thinking about here is how you win more work and how you win better work and how you build better relationships. And I always say to my clients who I work with, there are 4 steps to winning more work, and there are 5 keys within those 4 steps. Okay, so I start with the 4 steps, and actually I've got a couple of carousels on this. So again, if you want any of this, just kind of let us know in the chat or ping me an email and I can send these to you. There are 4 steps to winning more work, right? The first one is establishing credibility. You've got to show the customer, and I prefer to call it, it's the modern day, I prefer to call them customers than clients. Got to kick out the old habits. We're all customers. You've got to show the customer that you understand them. And if they're a business, you've got to understand their business, you've got to understand their industry. And you've got to be able to show them how you've obtained the best results for customers just like them. If you can do that, you're going to be steps closer to winning more work. What we then have to do is actually we have to deliver a really good quality proposal. Okay? We've got to, that proposal that you send out, it's a hint. It's just a tiny little window opening of how good you are. So if you really want that client, give the proposal that the client, that the customer deserves. Right, next out is you've got to show the customer what makes you different. Okay. What's interesting, and I've just talked about it, is the fact that so many law firms still charge by the hour. Okay, that's not really separating them out too much. We talk about being different, we talk about doing things differently, but actually when it comes down to it, what we tend to find is that when you go beneath the surface, law firms are still doing things the way that they were always done. You've got an opportunity to really talk about the things that make you different. Show them that. Show them how you are truly different. Show them how you will give them outcomes that are different to other lawyers. And the fourth step is offer a great experience. Too many legal businesses make the customer journey complex and they make it really frustrating. Show them how easy it's going to be to work with you. And I've got the most simple, basic story that sets that really does show that. So when we were selling our house 2 years ago to come and live in Gibraltar, we sold our house and the estate agent recommended, oh my God, this could not be more timely with my post today. So the estate agent recommended that we speak to this law firm, which I did. The introduction was very good, enjoyed it. Said, okay, fine. The price was pretty good. I felt that they could have charged more, but then as anyone who knows me, I always think lawyers could be charging much more anyway. It doesn't, we never charge enough. So got the terms of engagement in. And firstly, it said that the conveyancer was going to be paying 35% referral fee. No one had mentioned this to me in any conversation. And having worked the way that I do for so long to get conveyancers to stop with referral fees, it didn't even cross my mind to ask. Right. So as soon as it came in and I worked out figures, I thought, Christ, that no longer is that even a decent fee. Now we're talking 35% less. And I imagined how this was going to go, and it went exactly how I imagined. And it started, Clara, with us returning the terms of engagement, sorry, and we had to put it in the post. Mm-hmm. We are in the age of the e-signature, right? But I had to return it in the post. I had to return it in the post with copies of our passports that were either going to have to be stamped in their office or I was going to have to go to a local solicitor to get it stamped.
Wow.
I just sat there and I said, I genuinely don't believe this, because it's the 21st century. Even the NHS do the phone where you can do it all through the app now, do it all through the app. And I was absolutely livid. Anyway, and that was just the start of it. So even getting started was a pain in the neck, and that set the tone for the entire conveyancing process, during which I dealt with 4 different conveyancers, because people went off on holiday, on sick leave, on maternity leave, on whatever leave it was. I dealt with 4 different, and each time no one could tell me who was dealing with my file. So I had to, it was, no one told me they were going off, and it was just a nightmare. And I remember at the end of it, I sent a message to the senior partner, and I said, please take this in the spirit it's meant. I'm doing this to help you consider improving your process, but this is the experience I've had. And the reality is, I said to him that I won't be using you again, which I wouldn't be because we're living in Gibraltar. And I won't be recommending anyone to you. And that's a nightmare for you. Now, in true fashion with this law firm, I never heard from that senior partner. They've got any kind of response from them. Right. So if you're going to, this is all about the customer journey. Make it good. Make it easy. Make them want to work with you again. Right. So we've gone through the 4 steps. Now the 5 keys. The 5 keys. The first one is authority. Okay. And I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to say it again. You want to be the authority in your field. You want to post on social media. You want to write articles, host webinars. You want to be guests on podcasts. You want to give information away for free so that you can show people what you know and what it's going to be like to work with you. Now, I still get messages from people saying, Scott, why do you give so much information away for free? Why don't you make people pay for it? And I say the same thing to them every single time. I've gone, welcome to Google. And now it's welcome to the world of AI, because if you want, you could find the information that I put out somewhere on the internet. What I do is I have spent 20 years doing this, and I've honed it, and I've broken it down into, on the core, the 2-day course that I do that I'm just about to turn into a digital course, the BT Breakthrough Blueprint. I break it all down nice and easily for you so that you don't have to go off and do all of this on your own, okay? But the information's out there. So the idea that I should hide it behind a paywall is just silly. How's anyone going to know how good I am if I don't give some of this away for free? So give it away for free. Then there's investigation. Okay, this is about getting under people's skin. This is understanding your customer, your client, their business, their circumstances, and understanding that actually that understanding is more important than your legal knowledge. And I wrote about this a few days ago. Your curiosity is more important than your legal knowledge. Why? Because clients expect you to know the law. What they want from you is to know how the law affects them and their business or situation. So you should be doing your research. Number 3 is add value. Add value. Don't do the research into potential customers if you're not going to share if you're not going to share those insights. 58% of buyers think BD meetings or sales meetings are a waste of time. And the reason for that is because most lawyers spend most of those meetings talking about themselves and how good they are. And they don't add any value to the conversation at all. Don't be that lawyer. Share insights, pepper the conversation, entire conversation, show them that you know their circumstances and show them that you know how to help them. Make sure every client leaves every interaction having learned something they didn't know before they spoke to you. Now, in previous talks that I've done, I talk about the 4 levels of value creation. Unfortunately, I don't know whether we don't really have time to talk about that today, but you can find that on other talks I've given, or I can, if you reach out to me, I can sort of give you a bit of a breakdown of that. Number 4 is proof. Shout from the rooftops how good your work is. You do great work, shout about it. You provide clients with great outcomes and great results. Don't be shy to ask for testimonials, ask for referrals. Let clients and prospects know just how good it is to work with you. And the 5th key is about being proactive. That's about acting right now. Too many lawyers call themselves problem solvers. That means the problem has already arisen when you know how to prevent the problem from happening in the first place. Okay, we're always the last to the party. The client comes to us, there's already been a decision made. That's not being a trusted advisor. Be the trusted advisor. The client needs you to advise them, help them in the decision-making process, advise them before the problem arises. That is what makes you a really great advisor, and it takes you to the absolute top level as a trusted advisor. Okay, so you've got the 4 steps and the 5 keys. Other things you should be thinking about: commercial awareness. If you're sort of in the sort of business side of law, be curious, ask questions, get to know your clients, get to know their businesses, get to know their industries. You need to be able to tailor your legal advice to their specific circumstances. And if you can't do that, as I think I said in the post last week, you're just really a clever person telling them stuff they can't use. Being commercially aware, again, takes you to a different level. Takes you to a totally different level. You've got insights you can share. You know, they'll want you at that table when they're making strategic decisions. And remember, people make strategic decisions whether they're in business or in life. We just don't think that having a will is a strategic decision, or buying a second house is a strategic decision. Of course they are. They're going to impact the future of our clients. So they are strategic decisions. Help your clients make those strategic decisions. Don't be the lawyer that is there when the decision has already been made. Cross-sell. Rainmakers don't just make it rain for themselves, they make it rain for others. That makes you invaluable to the business. Okay, if you're passing work around to other colleagues, you're making it rain for others, you are invaluable to that business. You know, don't worry about who's getting the credit for in the hours. That work's not there if you don't bring it in. So the hours are unimportant. The kudos comes from you simply being that lawyer that passes the work around. But for your client, why would you know that a client has a problem and not help them find a solution? Why would you know that they've got a goal where you know a colleague can help or a contact in a different industry can help, and think it's not your job to help them with that? Cross-selling makes you invaluable. Empower clients. Again, it comes back to teaching them stuff. Empowering clients is part of your job. If clients walk away from every interaction with you understanding their circumstances better and making informed decisions, they'll love you for it. So massively important. Be outcomes focused. Be outcomes focused. Again, you're not selling time, you are selling outcomes. You're selling peace of mind. A client wants the work done as quickly and as painlessly as possible. If you work on time, you are absolutely not aligned with their best outcome, because you get paid more the slower that you do things. Be outcomes focused. Clients will see you as a trusted advisor. They will recommend you and refer you, even if the outcome that you provide them does not make you as much money as a different one. Create certainty for them. Again, all of these things, they all come round to the same thing. Give them certainty. If you can offer a fixed price based on a very well scoped matter, give them that kind of certainty. You would not buy an iPhone if the price of it depended on how much you were going to use it or how many times you switched it on a day, all of which Apple couldn't tell you until the end of the day or month. You simply wouldn't work that way. You wouldn't go into a restaurant who said to you, if that's what you want, I've got no idea how long it's going to take us, but we're going to charge you based on how long it does. And I should let you know that we're really busy at the moment. So just because you're in here really busy, it's going to take us longer. And so we'll get back to you with the price at the end of it. You just simply wouldn't stand for that. But the absolute number one thing that will make you indispensable to clients, the customer experience. If you can give clients a top quality experience from start to finish, that will make you somebody that they come back to time and time and time again. And they will remember you, and they'll recommend you, and they'll tell your bosses, and they'll tell their friends. And that will make you indispensable, not just to the clients, but to the legal business. All of the
Sorry, I was just going to interrupt, because on the customer experience, isn't there all sorts of research that's been done? Even if there's mistakes along the way, it's about dealing with them right, isn't it? Because people actually like people more if they've dealt with a mistake, handled it really well, felt really supported through it, and then come up with a positive outcome. People will be more inclined towards those people again, because it sort of proved the customer experience to them in a greater detail than just sort of a smooth flow almost.
Right, absolutely. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen, but this is about building the kind of relationship with clients where the mistake doesn't have to be the be all and end all, because that relationship means so much to them, because that experience means so much to them. And that's, again, it's really important. A couple of last things I want to leave you with, because I know we're running short of time. Things for you guys to be thinking about. Firstly, in all of this, what really matters, that's going to help you most, is finding a law firm that fits your values. If it can fit your values, it's going to let you spread your wings and bring out the best in you, then you're going to do your best stuff for the business and for clients. You know, there are so many legal businesses out there that you can find and you can speak to that match who you are and your values. Go and speak to them. Let them know that this is what you want in order to progress your career or progress your business. Secondly, build your personal brand. COVID did something really interesting, and I'm not a marketer, by the way. I focus on business development. I focus on the sales side. But time and time again, what I hear marketers say, which is absolutely true, is what COVID did was it shifted the importance of brand away from the business and onto the individual. And what people are looking at now is they're looking at the personal brand as a way of deciding who they want to work with. Business brands are becoming less important, and personal brands are becoming really super important. Social media has democratized marketing. Use it. It's free. So much of it is free for you to get your information out on a platform where you can reach potential clients. And it is easy. You know, it takes that first post or two to get over. But when you realize that the world hasn't caved in, it actually becomes a lot of fun. And so build your personal brand. If it's your business, it's easy. If it's not your business, speak to your employers. Tell them why you want to do it and how it's going to help them. It absolutely helps their business. If you build your personal brand and you're bringing in work, it gives you great leverage to advance your career, but it's brilliant for their business. Why they would say no, and we've all heard stories about law firms that do say no, but if they say no, then there's a problem. So build your personal brand. Thirdly, embrace technology. Embrace it, particularly AI. The genie is out of the bottle. Okay, it's not going back in. It is here, and it is going to just get better and better and better. Embrace it, use it, be on top of it. Okay, it's not there yet on the legal side, but it's not that it won't be that long. And when it does, it's going to require you to decide whether you are a document drafter and researcher or whether you are a trusted advisor. And becoming a trusted advisor takes time and takes effort. and it takes learning. But any lawyer can do BD. Any lawyer can become a trusted advisor. You just have to want to be. And as long as you want to, you can learn anything. And finally, on the BD front, if you haven't already seen it or got it, I've got a carousel that I call the 9 tips to get started. I released it at Christmas, like a Christmas version. I've got a usual version. Okay, it's 9 tips to just really, really simple things you could do straight away that would have an impact on your business development. Again, if you ping me a message on LinkedIn, or send me your email address, I'll send you out a copy of that one as well. So that's the talk. I hope it's been useful to you guys. If you've got any questions, then we can talk them through.